When they could show such intense feelings for jail-going man, they could well display a little of it to one retreating from life, even more since this was going to be a kind of death actually. So Jagan is thinking like, why can't his brother appreciate his renunciation in the same way, in a very warm and a very personal way they have been doing since back then when Jagan was joining the Gandhi's fraction, right? Retreating from life. Will they display a little of it on retreating from one's life? Even more since this was going to be a kind of a death actually, although he'd breathe, watch, and occasionally keep in touch, but the withdrawal would not be different from death. So, anyway, this is like a death for him. It's like a death in a sense of his previous life. So he's come to going to a new phase of life. So anyway, even he keeps up like eats, breathes, right? But still, it's there's something to do with death here. It's like a challenging thing, a challenging endeavor, adventure, a kind of a new retreat in life. So it's even some like if you compare it, juxtapose it with the previous case where Jagan left, abnegate himself, and just join the Gandhian fraction of the struggle. The same way, in the same way, he thinks he's doing something in a similar way, being bold, being dare uh, to accept this challenge and just renounce his current state of affairs and just go to retreat. He longed for a nice, crowded send off now. He wanted a good send off, a kind of a well crowded farewell now. He doesn't want to go to this retreat in a silence without anyone noticing. He wanted a little bit appreciation, right? But only his brother was left of an entire generation. I mean, like people are dead now. Most of them are dead. Parents are dead. Some of his elder relatives are dead. So only the brother is left of an entire generation. He felt longing for a glimpse of him. He wanted to see a little bit of a brother, right? Because sometimes you get even the brother hates him, even the sister hates him. Sometimes you feel like when you are living isolated for such a long time, once in a while you feel like if I get a chance just to look to my own brother, after all, there's an idiom, English idiom, like blood is thicker than water. It means that relations are important, right, than the acquaintances. So maybe that's the idea we get here. Brother was left for an entire generation. He felt longing for a glimpse of him. He felt desirous for just to look at his brother at least for once. He had lost all teeth according to the cousin, and Jagan felt curious to know what he looked like now. Our brother has also lost his teeth now, right? He's an old man. Now, if Jagan is 60s, probably brother is elder than him, right? No wonder he has just, lost some teeth, according to Cousin. Cousin has visited these places in Vineyard Street, so he knows the details and everything, right? He felt nostalgic for his brother's gruff voice uttering clipped sentences. Now he wished he can hear the brother's nostalgic means like nostalgia means feeling a love, feeling a desire for the past is a nostalgia. If you feel nostalgic, you feel the past life is good. Past life is more satisfying than your life. That's why you feel nostalgia. If you are enjoying the current moment, you don't feel nostalgic about the past, right? So, in other words, Jagan felt nostalgic for his brother's gruff voice, means the rough voice, gruff voice, the coarse voice, uttering clip sentences, right? Clip sentence means in speech you are having this quick short sounds. Quick short sounds are clipped sentences. Ever a positive man and born a leader of younger brothers. So for Jagan, his elder brother is a positive man and born a leader for a younger brothers. He's a role model, in other words, right? Yes, he's being advising. He's being very strict, not so whimsical. or sometimes sentimental like Jagan. He's into business sometimes when he focuses in certain things. He's much more like a controlling and a kind of role model, a positive man, according to Jagan. Jagan even accept his positive qualities now, right? The whole street was likely to crowd around Gafur's taxi to look at one who was reputed to have become the father-in-law of a girl of a outlandish origin. So Jagan imagines in his own mind his farewell. He imagines like people are gathering around him in Gafur's taxi. Now he's traveling in the Gafur's taxi, and his brother, maybe neighbors, people all just come to see this Jagan retreat. I mean, like retiring, and He's going back, renouncing his life, the merchant life, and going to be a new person, finding enlightenment. So people are giving him a farewell. He imagines these things, right? Father-in-law in a girl of outlandish origin. People come to see who's Grace's father-in-law, right? His brother would probably keep him standing in the street and tell him to throw him the key from distance in Jagan's shadow was likely to take the threshold. So Jagan thinks like brother will not welcome into his house. Brother will never welcome into his house. Jagan feels these things. Jagan has this mental, it's like this movie inside his head. In this movie inside this, he can see Jagan is throwing the key, back door key to the brother, and brother is catching the key, right? And brother doesn't want to welcome Jagan into his house because he thinks brother will think that if he welcome Jagan, his house will be tainted, because that's the attitude they have towards Jagan, right? And yeah, and likely to taint the threshold means likely to pollute the entrance of the brother's house. So Jagan has to throw the key from a distance for the brother. And Jagan shouts, and shout his explanation. Jagan says from this side to the brother who's standing in his doorway, having the keys right now. Jagan saying, I am off to a retreat. I'm going to the retreat means I'm going to Ticket, I'm going to a jungle, a forest, just to renounce the daily life, right? In අබිනිෂ්ක්‍රමණයක් වගේ එකක්, just like බණ භාවනා කරන්න යනවා වගේ එකක්. Just like that. I'm off to a retreat. I'm 60 in a new janma. I'm in a new life. I'm 60 now. He might have to speak about Mali too. Sometimes maybe he's required to speak about Mali to his brother too. It's not only his marriage, but you must know the latest truth that they are not married at all, but carry tales against each other, although they sit close in a motor car. And Jagan is explaining these things to the brother from a distance. And it's not only his marriage, but you must know the latest truth that they are not married at all. Jagan wish he could say this thing to his brother and kind of clear his conscience, right? Clear his conscience. So anyway, it doesn't matter what is the judgment, but he has told the truth. He's been honest. There's no secrets when he leaves this place. Everyone knows everything about him. So it's being honest in a way, having no burdens, no grudges to hide from anyone. So definitely he'll be judged. That's a different thing. But he feels like anyway, telling the truth will relieve this pain. But you have to understand. On the other hand, why is this Jagan's kind of this? I mean, like extreme reaction towards Mali and Grace living together can be understood clearly in this light, because he is very critical about how his relatives, how the brother, how the sister, or people associated with him will judge him on. I mean, like for them, that's the issue. That will be a big issue. For Kasim, he may see the Kasim the light way he took it. He even suggested a solution. But Jagan took this living together incident to such an extent as like it's kind of a tainting his own house. He thought it was tainting. That act was itself is a immoral act, impermissible act, cannot grant permission, cannot sanction such acts, cannot approve such acts. Why? Is this traditional pressure, his peer pressure, and his this kind of a family pressure that he thinks that where his siblings would judge him even severely, right? So now he want to clean everything. He want to settle the score. He want to start in a clean slate. A clean slate means a very clean, in a very uh, kind of a pure beginning, just like erasing all the past. It's called a clean slate. But you must know the latest truth that they are not married at all, but carry tales against each other, although they sit close in a motor car. And his brother might shout back, and he's imagining when he say these things to the brother, brother is replying him, and that get away, you polluter of family reputations, go, go away. මගේ දැහැට නොපෙනී ඵලයන් කියලා brother කියනවා ජේගන්න මැවිලා පේනවා, right? Just like a pollute of family traditions, උඹ අපේ පවුල කෑවා. In other words, right? It's the guilt of Jagan, in other words, right? How Jagan feels about it. And that crowd surrounding his taxi might jeer and laugh, and he can now visualize the people are laughing at him, laughing and jeering, just smiling and laughing at him, obstruct the taxi, stop the taxi, and force him to miss his bus at the market gate. And like the people are stopping the taxi, kind of saying like "Ane Jagan Yandepa," just like the people are pleading. I mean, like people are so worried, right, that Jagan is leaving, and these things comes to Jagan's mind. I mean, like, yes, he has a right just to think like that, in a sense, like he has given some, uh, free sweets. I mean, like almost like cheap sweets for such a reduced price, like excellent cheap sweets, right? 25 paisa, good packet of sweets. So many people came to his shop. It was crowded. It was made a clamor. So of course he thinks like he has done something to the society, and society is also owning something for him in a way of just wanting him, loving him, right? Appreciating him. So they'll appreciate when Jagan is leaving this place. He's thinking these things. සමාජයේ තමන්ට ආදරය කරනවා කියලා ජේගන්ගේ කුංචි බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තියෙනවා ඒ පැත්තට. That's what we can see here, right? So how subtle RK Narayan is if you really think about these things. It doesn't appear, but you have to think deep. Then you find the connections. Why Jagan is thinking like this, right? Anyway, he wish that there are certain people says like just like bids him goodbye in a much more sentimental way. That the crowd surrounding his taxi might jeer and laugh, obstruct his taxi and force him to miss his bus at the market gate. I mean, like, because all these people, he couldn't take the bus even, right? He will miss his journey even. Thus, he would get caught again in the day's routine and another day's impossible thought. So, he is missing his bus now because of the people, the pressure of the people. Yandepa කියලා සමහර විට they are just අනේ ඔබතුමා නැතුව බෑ අපිට ඉන්න. So he's missing the bus, obstructing, and over, right, he is falling to that same old routine again. And this is a very unbearable thought again to Jagan. All happening inside his head, nothing in reality. It's all a fiction. It's all fiction. It's all a fantasy. Impossible thought, Jagan thinks, right? Better carry away the key. After all, it's the back door. And Jay can suddenly come to a decision, right? No, 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 no. This is not going to happen, right? This is ridiculous. I'm taking the key with me. Right? It's a backdoor key. It doesn't make any difference anyway. I'm having the key with me. Thinks Jagan and has that possession uh, in him. I mean, like he's not ready to give up still, right? Part of him want to give up. Part of him doesn't want to give up. The struggle is inside him. That's what we see, obviously. And when passing Sir Frederick Lowley statue, he saw his cousin riding down clumsily on a bicycle. When he was passing the Lowley statue, he saw like his cousin is just riding, pedaling a bicycle in a kind of a funny way, right? Clumsy in a kind of a kind of a preposterous way, clumsily. He's stuffed flying in the wind. His pieces of a piece of air is konde ulangata යනවද පැත්තගෙන යනවා bicycle එක, right? Can you imagine the situation, right? Stuffed flying in the wind. His wheels zigzagging perilously on the edge of the storm drain and retracting miraculously to the center of the road. His wheels are zigzagging. He's not kind of going straight. He's going this way, zigzag, zigzag. It's like the Z shape, right? Z shape. So it's like going this way in the bicycle, swaying, zigzagging. He's not good at bicycle riding, it seems. But anyway, he's got a bicycle from somewhere, and he's zigzagging perilously, means dangerously, right? එහාට පැද්දි පාරේ, right? Just to sudden. Imagine he's on the bicycle and the hair is like he doesn't have much hair, but the tuft, right? Even the little hair that is just on the air. Jagan stood arrested by the spectacle. Arrested means Jagan was shocked, kind of like stoned at like arrested, like what? What? Cousin is on a bicycle zigzagging and just like coming like a drunkard almost, right? All over the place. What's going on? Jagan stood arrested by the spectacle as he never seen the cousin on a bicycle before. It's the first time in his entire life. He's 60 years old. He saw this cousin on a bicycle, right? He has never seen cousin in a bicycle before. The wheels seem to come straight for him. The bicycle is coming straight towards Jagan now, right? It's like in a collision course. Now Jagan is here. Cousin is zigzagging, and anyway, just coming into face to face with Jagan, right? The wheels seem to come straight for him, shouting incoherent inquiries. And the man in the bicycle is shouting, asking things while he was riding. Just like something asking from Jagan, right? We can't hear. We don't know what is incoherent means. It's not clear. It's very unclear, right? Inquiries. Jagan stepped aside. Jagan immediately just it's just coming directly to you. This cousin in a bicycle now, and Jagan stepped aside means got away from the road. The cousin helplessly dashed past him dozen yards and fell off the saddle, leaving the bicycle to bolt away itself to a ditch. The cousin helplessly dashed means like cousin couldn't stop the bicycle near Jagan. It went far. It helplessly went far, right? In other words, cousin doesn't have control on a bicycle. Right? Just like so, it's not in balance. That's the thing. And cousin helplessly dashed past means past Jagan dozen yards, past him and went a little bit further, dozen yards, and fell off the saddle means just jump off the bicycle. Fell off the saddle. He first fell from the bicycle. I mean, he jumped from the bicycle. The bicycle, meaning a pen, right? Just like fell off the saddle. Right? He fell off the saddle, leaving the bicycle to bolt away a bit by itself in a ditch. After the cousin came off the bicycle went a little bit further by itself and fell into a ditch. Right? It fell into a drain. Can't go to bicycle, right? So it's kind of a clumsy situation. He picked himself up as Jagan got over his wonderment and demanded. I mean, like for Jagan, this is such a surprise, such a wonderment. He's never seen that. Why is this cousin taking this trouble just to ride a bicycle? I mean, like, he's old too. If he wanted to ride a bicycle, he should have started it before, right? How to learn a bicycle. Cousin never used a bicycle. He's a man who walked just as much as Jagan, right? He's a man, he's a wanderer about the town. He walked. The මෙච්චර බයිසිකල් ඉගෙන ගන්න කාලයක් තිබිලා ඉගෙන ගත්තේ නැති කසින් මොකද මේ අදිස්සිය බයිසිකලයක් ඉගෙන ගන්න කියලා maybe Jagan's thinking, right? He's just like such in a confused state, right? What's going on? In his wonderment and demanded, what is this circus feat so early in the day? Hey, මොකද්ද මේ circus එක මේ මොකක්ද circus වෙන්නවද කියලා අහනවා, just like Jagan from the cousin, right? What is this circus feast so early in the day? The පාන්දර මොකද්ද මං circus එක මේ කියලා, right? At your age, you may kill yourself. Look at you, how old are you? You'll probably kill yourself, right? Hitting somewhere, right? Like cousin සාමාන්‍ය තට්ටෙත් තියෙනවා ටිකක්. හිතන්න ගොළුව ගිහලා වැදුනා තට්ටකින් වැදුනා ගහක. නේ. Set the boat, right? You can kill yourself, right? So the risk is there. I don't know, panted the cousin. I don't know, panted the cousin, right? Panting means that action, right? Dusting off the mud on his scratches at his elbow, and he's just dusting the scratches, right, over his mud. Yes, fell down from the bicycle and just scratching those dust, right? And just, all the mud over his place, right? Dust and everything. Scratches his elbow. I was in a hurry to meet you, so borrowed the bicycle from my neighbor. I was in such a hurry to meet you. I was looking you all over the place. I won't immediately meet you. That's why I took the bicycle from the neighbor. Alabita saying bicycle illanga. The bicycle and a then, right? Just bicycle from my neighbor. If you don't mind, I'll leave you in house. I dare not ride it back. Right? Now the cousin says, like, if you don't mind, I'll leave it in your house. I mean, like, cousin says, okay, can I leave the bicycle in your house if you don't mind? So I can't ride it back means now once he ride, this riding is not successful, right? He fell, the bicycle fell, not at once, he fell. First the bicycle fell, so second time, right? Such a fiasco here. And now cousin don't feel like riding it back again after delivering the message to Jagan, not using the bicycle. So he asked, like, can I keep the bicycle in your house for a while if you don't mind? Leave it in your house. I dare not ride it back. I don't want to ride it back. මේක මම මරාලයක් මේක ආයි මට පැදගෙන යන්න බෑ. Just the idea, right? And Jagan said, I have locked my house and I am not going back. Jagan said, such a surprising line. I have locked my house and I am not going back. It's a surprise. The unmistakable firmness of his tone made the cousin proceed straight to the business. Cousin didn't know these things. And this unmistakable firmness means that Jagan said these things in a very surefire way, in a very confirmative language. He's announcing these things. And cousin, without wasting any time, came to the business, just asked the question, right? I mean, like, cousin proceeded to the business minister. Cousin explained. Now he's in a hurry too. Cousin was risking his, safety and was riding the bicycle just to say something important to Jagan. And now Jagan also says something very drastic. But anyway, cousin says, come with me. Our lawyer is waiting. Mali needs immediate help. Come with me. Mali's in trouble. Come, Mali needs some help. Our lawyer wants to meet you. Just come with me, cousin says. Jagan asks, what happened? What's going on? And cousin replied, Mal is in prison since last evening. Mal is arrested. He's in prison now since last evening. Jagan came to a dead stop on the road and screamed. Jagan came to a dead stop means Jagan was arrested as like Jagan felt like suddenly shocked with these words. and screamed, cried out a little louder, "Oh God, why?" Cousin replies, "He was found with a half a bottle of alcohol in his car. He is found with a half a bottle of alcohol in his car. He was arrested for that." Siva. It's like Siva means a god, right? Oh my God. In your case, right? When you are in a profound shock, you say, "Buddhu Amme." Siva, cried Jagan. "That's why I discourage his idea of buying that horrible car. That's why I discouraged that. I said, no, don't buy that rubbish car, right? Horrible, horrendous, dumb car, right?" He vented his rage against the green automobile until the cousin interrupted him. He was very angry about the idea of Jagan buying this green car. And now he just explicitly, openly shows his disapproval of the idea, right? "I discourage the idea of buying that horrible car." Uh, and before finishing the sentence, cousin interrupted and said, "A bottle could be sneaked in anywhere. I mean, like, it's not a problem with a car. A bottle can be sneaked in anywhere means anyone can put a bottle to a person's car. Oh, the bottle can come in his car in such different ways. Someone can put it in his car. Any person who has traveled with him has perhaps forgotten the bottle in the car. So anyway, the police found it and he was arrested. Right. So now the question is, this idea may appear very alien to you, right? You may ask like, "Sir," now my students ask this question regularly. "So how come?" My students are kind of, they have this weird questioning habits, right? Anyway, one asked this question. It's a very interesting question. "So is it a crime just to carry a bottle of alcohol in a car? How was he arrested?" Some people carrying, we can see, right, cases of alcohol in their vehicles for wedding ceremonies and everything. You can carry it and they'll not be arrested in our country. So how could he be arrested here? So there are two answers, right? I mean, like, there are two things you have to focus on. One thing is, this is 1960s. 1967 is the year this now comes out, being published, right? It's 1960s post-colonial India. Alcohol is banned. I mean, like, alcohol, you can't keep it with you. There are certain countries even today, you can't have a bottle of alcohol with you. If you have it with you, it will be a crime. It's banned in the law, it's banned in the constitution. So the police will come, capture you, you have to go to jail. For example, our neighbor, Maldives, is a uh, set of islands, and according to Maldivian law, you can't have a bottle of alcohol with you. Even today, right now, if you are captured, you have to go to jail. This is a crime. They only serve alcohol in certain restaurants. Restaurants are given permission because it's tourism and everything. They have to, tourist drinks. So inside a restaurant, it's permitted. Other than that, you can't have a bottle of alcohol in your possession. There are some Middle East countries. Alcohol is haram. Right? It's not allowed. That's a crime. Yeah? You have to go to jail. And that is the reason. Here in the post-colonial India, the same situation. You have to go to jail. But today, things are quite changed. Today it's much more liberal. You don't have to go to jail because you have a bottle of alcohol today in India, right? Things have changed. So certain rules change at certain times. So that's the idea. Uh, so this is in that context. You don't understand. It's motor car that creates all sort of notions in a young fellow, said Jagan, and found an agreeable escape into this theme. Everything would have been well if he hadn't bought that car, says Jagan. You don't understand the gravity of this situation, Jagan explains to Kasim. It is the most motor car that creates all sort of notions in a young fellow. When a young guy has a motor car, he gets all these crazy ideas in him. His attitude changes, said Jagan, and found an agreeable escape into his theme. And Jagan always believed that motor car has spoiled Mali. This having this motor car is the root of all evil. Right? Jagan found that agreeable escape into his theme. Everything would have been well if he hadn't bought that car. Everything will be okay, right? Mal will not go to prison if he didn't have this car. In other words, that's the idea here, right? You have to understand that. Don't interrupt me. Listen, said the cousin. Right. Wait. Listen to me, says the cousin. Don't interrupt me. Don't disturb me. You must get him out of the police lockup at once. It's not a good place to be in. We could have got him out last night if you had not disappeared. Where were you? Cousin asks. Cousin jumps to Jagan, right? No. Wait. Listen to me. There's something important, right? Don't interrupt me. Listen, said cousin. You must get him out of the police lockup at once. Now, immediately you have to rescue Malik from the police lockup. It's not a good place to be in. It's not a nice place, cool place to stay for a person. We could have got him last night. Yesterday night itself, we could have bailed him. We could have taken him out if you had not disappeared. Where were you? Where have you been? Probably cousin has gone to Jagan's house and no one was at the house. Why? Jagan was under the lowly statue, right? He was sleeping under the lowly statue. He was thinking about the past, right? All his wedding and those events, the good old days. And he fell asleep under the lowly statue and woke up in the morning. And now he's made his mind just to leave the house. And see, such a situation, right? Where were you? Asked cousin. I was only sleeping on the statue, Jagan said, and remembered his wife's tones whenever he proposed to sleep out, right? Proposed to sleep out. And Jagan simply said, I was under the statue. I was sleeping under the statue, right? And he remembered the old days, right? When how Ambika joked, why don't you go and sleep under the lowly statue? Yeah, it is a very comfortable, cool ambience, atmosphere is there. Why are you going to the veranda? Can you remember, right? So he remembered the old days as well. And the tones means aggravation or deriding, joking tones, right? Taunting remarks. Whenever he proposed to sleep out. Fine time you chose to give the statue company while I was searching for you everywhere. It's fine time you chose to give the statue company. It's the exact proper time. The most suitable time. හරියටම හරි වෙලාවේ තමයි පිළිමේ තනි රකින්න ගිහිල්ලා නිදාගන්නේ ඔබතුමා. හරිම වෙලාව ඒ කියන්නේ හොඳම වෙලාව පිළිමේට තනි රකින්න ගිහිල්ලා තනි රැක නිදාගන්න හොඳම වෙලාව තමයි තෝරගන්නේ. Says cousin to Jagan, right? While I was searching you everywhere, I was looking you, I was kind of searching you all over the place, exclaimed the cousin. We could have got Mali last night. Last night itself it was possible if you were there. He's still there in the jail because of you. In other words, right? Oh, what can we do now? Poor boy in the lockup. He won't feel comfortable, says the father. Oh, what can we do now? All right, what can we do now? The poor boy in a lockup. In the lockup means in the jail now, right? He won't feel comfortable. He is very uncomfortable there, for sure. He has always slept on a spring mattress. In house, he lived a luxurious life. He is always sleeping on a spring mattress. When you go to jail, do you get a spring mattress, or do you get beds in jail? No, you have to sleep on the ground itself, right? Sometimes if you are lucky, you'll get some cardboards, or you write things like that. You can just lay it. If you're lucky, extremely lucky, right? Unless it's just a plain ground, plain floor, you have to sleep. That's it. That's why it's a jail, right? Spring mattress since he was 7. Now it's the first time in Mali's life he is going to sleep without a spring mattress. How can I get him out? Jagan thinks, speaks. Tears blurred his sight. He's sentimental, he's feeling sentimental, and tears are coming and covering his eyes, blurred his sight. Until the cousin looked distorted. Cousin also felt upset, kind of corrugated and dwarfish. Right. Cousin felt a little uncomfortable too, because cousin loves Mali as well. Mali calls cousin as uncle, right? He's the only person in Malgudi where cousin is not a cousin. Is to Mali. To Mali, cousin is the uncle. Right? And cousin felt sad too. Dwarfish means felt little, felt small. The cousin watched him calmly and said, "Come, come, don't let the vagrant see the tears in your eyes." Cousin just goes like to Jagan, right? Come, come, Jagan, come, come, right? Don't let the see the vagrant see the tears in your eyes. Don't let the other people, these insignificant people, the outsiders, see the tears in your eyes. Cousin is very protective and very sympathetic towards Jagan here, right? In your eyes. The cousin was extremely practical and knew exactly what should be done. Cousin was very practical and knew, right? Cousin didn't want to show these emotions. Even cousin is upset, right? But he didn't like others to see Jagan in such a vulnerable state, such a fragile state. So he says, like, come, Jagan, like we do. No wonder he was in such a demand, thought Jagan all over the town. And Jagan also felt like, yes, I should not cry in this open. So he felt like a little bit of gratitude towards cousin. Yeah, why? No wonder there's no such. Why I'm not surprised why people in Malgudi wants cousin. Right? He's such a practical man. He knows what to do in the right time. Thought Jagan. No wonder he was in such demand. Thought Jagan all over the town. Any crisis in any house, a funeral, marriage, accident, or litigation, brought to the surface the best in the cousin. Right? Brought to the surface the best in the cousin. Litigation means a legal proceeding, some kind of a activity concerned with the law courts is called litigation. When Nadu Haba, litigation, right? So, if there are any function, anything in Malgudi, a challenging situation like what? Like a marriage, a funeral, accident, or situation like this, where a litigation is involved, it brought the surface the best in cousin. Cousin is in full action. Cousin is acting very appropriately, requiring the demands of the situation. Cousin is handling the situation very well under this pressure. Other people explode. Jagan is crying. Cousin didn't cry. Cousin just looked around and said, "Stop, stop crying." Right? Let's talk, but still. So cousin has this practical aspect in him. Which lockup? Jagan asked. Which lockup are we talking about? In the sub jail until the trial begins. He's in the sub jail. Sub jail means it's not the jail, it's a sub jail. It's like a remand for us. Till the trial begins, till the they are asking this, till the law proceedings start, he is in the sub jail. In other words, he's like in the remand. Right? Remand is a place where accused are kept are still not victims or still not wrongdoers. It is decided in the court hearings whether this person is a innocent one or a perpetrator. If he's a perpetrator, if he has done something illegal, he has to go to the jail unless he'll be released. So sub jail or the remand is a transit point. රිමාන්ඩ් එකට ගියා කියලා මිනිස්සෙක් වැරද්දක් කරා කියලා 100% කියන්න බෑ. If the police suspect you or some neighbor for some wrongdoing, they can take them and put them in the remand. But it doesn't mean that you have done it. It's just a suspicion, it's speculation. In the court, they have to prove it without reasonable doubt. Right? Then they have to go to jail for the crime. So sub jail is something like that, right? It's a transient. It's a kind of a such a situation, right? So he's in the sub jail until the trials begin. Get up! Let's go and see if let's go now. Let's hurry. Yeah, we have to help him out, right? Suggests Qasim to Jagan. Jagan felt giddy. Giddy is kind of a headache, right? Just like dizzy. His head is just spinning right now, right? His head is spinning. He's very dizzy, giddy. The pressed his temples with his palms. He pressed his temples. This is the temples of your body. This is the forehead. This is the temples. He pressed his temples with his palms, right? With his palms. Don't pile on so much. I can't stand it. Right? Don't tell me so much. It's too heavy for me. Just like I can't stand it means I can't tolerate it. It's too much. He fell faint and stretched himself flat at the foot of the statue. He felt like he was fainting, and just stretch means stood down again. Stretched means, lay, kind of sprawled, stretch himself flat on the foot of the statue. He sat down. The cousin said, looking to this, let us go back to your house. Like, let's go to your house now. Why are you sitting on the statue, right? Let's go to the house. No, said Jagan resolutely. No, I don't want to go to the house, said Jagan in a firm tone. You need rest, don't worry. I will manage everything for you, said Qasim, right? Yeah, I understand. You need rest now. You have to rest. I understand it, right? Don't worry. Don't be bothered. I'll manage everything for you. I'll do everything just to take Mali out from the prison, out from the sub jail. The cousin patted his shoulder tenderly and said, Cousin gave a small tap or pat, a small hit on Jagan's shoulder tenderly with love and said, don't lose your nerve now. Don't be nervous. Don't lose your nerve. What is all your philosophy worth if you cannot bear this little trial? Like, you are a man with philosophy, right? You know such philosophy. You are a good reader of Bhagavad Gita. Why are you so upset? Why are you become so upset, right? With such a small incident, right? Don't overthink. This is a small trial. This is just like a not a heavy or right undue, like uncontrollable, something like a natural disaster. No, it's a small issue. Calm down. Like, what's the use of Bhagavad Gita if it can't help you with philosophy in a situation like this? Right? If you can't bear this little trial, this is small trial. This is a little trouble times, right? So just Qasim is pointing this out just to uplift the morale of Jagan. In sub jail, Jagan wailed. Jagan cried, oh no, sub jail? I know that place. It's very dirty. Prisoners urinate in a corner of the lockup. Oh, have they improved the conditions since my days? He asked, blowing his nose. And he was just blowing his nose, right? It's like, and why is he worried about the sub jail? It's not a nice place at all. This remands even, right? The cousin, he says, I know the place because Jagan also has been to sub jail before and to the jail also. Jagan know the history, right? Jagan before Mali, he's been there. I know the place. I know the sub jail. It is very dirty. It's very polluted. It's a very nasty place to be. Prisoners urinate in a corner of the lockup. Yeah, because it's not open, right? If you are in the if you are in the sub jail now, sometimes you have to share the sub jail with maybe another five, six, seven people. දැන් රිමාන්ඩ් එකෙත් එනවා ගිහලා දැම්මට පස්සේ 6 7ක් 8ක් 9ක් ඉන්නවද? එක එක කට්ටිය. alright. දර චූබර වුණාම මොකද කරන්නේ? when nature calls. අනේ මට චූබරයි කියලා එළියට යන්න පුළුවන්ද? ලොක් එකේ දැම්මට පස්සේ. This is sub jail, right? Not the jail. jail එකේ නම් ඒකට වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා. right? අවෙලාවෙ හැදුනොත් ඒක තවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. In the sub jail it's even worse. එළියට ගන්නෙ නැහැ. ඇතුළේම තමයි ඉන්නේ. චූබර හැදුනොත් ඉතින් ගිහලා ඉතින් කොනකට තාප් එකට චූ කරන එක තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒක ඇතුළේ. චූ කරලා ඒක ඇතුළේම ඉන්නවා. ඒක ඇතුළේ මැස්සෝ වහන. චූ වල වහලා එවිලන් ඉන්නවා. right? Can't help it. Flies are flies, right? Imagine the situation. And that's it's very dirty, right? Says Jagan just blowing the nose, right? He's blowing the nose. You can imagine the situation, right? The other thing is like the best thing about people being inside a room is after some time it gets stinky, right? It gets yucky. අර වතුර වීල්ල ගියාට පස්සේ තියෙන සුවඳ fragrance එක ලොවෙත් නැහැ නේ මෙවන් ආස්වාදයක් ලොවෙත් නැහැ ඊට පස්සේ, right? Such a situation. So with the corner of the lockup, have they improved the conditions since my days? And Jagan is worrying, is the situation improved at least now? Are these people allowed, right, not to urinate inside the sub jail itself? He asked, blowing his nose, like such a headache for him, right? Naturally, it's all different now. Yeah, of course it's different now. It's not like the old days, says cousin immediately, right? No, things are changed. Oh yes, it must be different, I know. Though it was so awful in those British days. Yeah, I think it's different, said Jagan. I believe it's different. Because it was very bad, awful. Means extremely bad, excruciatingly painful at the time of British times, right? British days. The cousin went on. The first thing I did was to go to the sub jail and plead with the warders there. So cousin has taken some action immediately since yesterday. Since Mali was in the sub jail, cousin has gone to the jail and plead with, means talked and beseeched, asked, pleaded with some warders, right? Like this wardens in the jail, just like the jailers who controls the jail, right? It's like we call them warders, people who controls, right? In other words, these are called the correction officers in a different context. In America, they don't call them wardens; they call them correction officers, right? Here in Sri Lanka, in India, we call them wardens, right? Wardens there. I saw the boy spoke to him, and he have seen Mali speaking to a warden, right? I managed to get him a cup of coffee also. So I gave, however, managed just to give a cup of coffee to Mali as well. Did you give him anything to eat? He must have been hungry, says Jagan to cousin. Like, couldn't you arrange anything to eat for Mali? He must be a hungry boy right now. They'll treat him specifically. Like, the wardens will specially treat Mali, right? Mali to podi විශේෂ සැලකිල්ලක් හම්බෙයි, right? I know the district collector. Another important figure. And so we can get things done. We can arrange things done, right? Don't worry about it. I got the news at 6 o'clock. I got this news somewhere around 6 o'clock that Mar has been arrested. I was returning from the house of the superintendent engineer. So he was returning from the this chief engineer, right? Superintendent, right? Engineer, the chief engineer. Now he's in all the place. Like this guy is even in the district judge's place, right? District judge took him when they were going for a trip, almost forcefully took him, right? So he has connections, he has these ties. Don't worry about it, right? Yeah, this chief engineer, where I had gone to fix up a home tutor for their son. So this chief engineer wanted the tutor, educator, tuition master for their young son. So cousin has to fix that. Once he was there fixing the issue, he got this news, right? At the turning next near the general post office, an orderly form from the superintendent's house gave me the news. So he was when leaving, like turning near the general post office, uh, an orderly, it's like a soldier, it's like a guard from the chief engineer's house pass this information to Qasim. Like, do you know that Mar is arrested? Says a guard near the post office to Qasim. That's how you got the news. The green car was halted at the Mempi outpost. Green car was there at the Mempi outpost. So it was happened somewhere around the Mempi forest, right? Mempi outpost. Outpost is a kind of a small army or just police. This called the barricades, right? They have these small posts. You've seen this, right? Where several police officers or army officers stay inside a small hut, right? That's the outpost. So near this Mempi outpost, this thing has occurred, right? And that's what has happened.